This is the truth that Cryptobros don't want you to see.
So this is basically the metaverse that the Cryptobros don't want you to hear about. Entropia Universe, which this has been out since 2003.
Wow.
And most people, even people in the MMO world, may not have heard of Entropia Universe.
I haven't.
Because nobody really plays Entropia Universe.
Yeah.
It's one of the first games that came out that was doing this whole real-world economy in a digital world thing. And it's been doing this entire time. It's been out for 20 years. And it's not taken off. And of course, you can look at this and say, you know, there's a clear reason as to why it's not taken off, and that's because it looks like this.
Yeah, I can see why it's not. Yeah, I can see why it's not taking off too.
Play very, advanced. It's not a crazy mechanical game or anything. But I would argue that at the time it released, it was relatively like most other MMOs. It wasn't groundbreaking, but it was basically doing similar things. Now, of course, the reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of people in play-to-earn gaming and crypto gaming and these metaverse...
That play-to-earn gaming is the same as basically... it's like if you work in one of the sweatshops, the only difference is that you lock yourself in your room rather than your boss doing it.
Projects like to say, this is the future, right? Digital ownership of your stuff, and it can only be done with crypto and blockchain technology. And this just proves that it doesn't. It's just another example. We don't need that. It's already existed. And we basically already decided that people generally, at least gamers, when presented with this option, don't want it. And it's just like the other examples of when people talk about things like...
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that play video games that want to have an escape from the real world economy and the real world. Like, they don't want to go into a video game and then be reminded of everything that they don't like about the real world.
A metaverse. We have VR chat. We have Second Life. We have these other game worlds that function identically. And people can use them without being, inconvenienced at all by not having to buy all these things that they don't want to and get involved in this technology that they don't really have any interest in.
Sure.
And of course, at some point, there might be a gap being bridged where the technology, you don't really have to interact with it, and it's so easy to use that people don't really mind all too much. But obviously, at that point...
I do think that a game that's play to earn could be successful, but the reason why they're not successful is that the main reason why play to earn games are popular at all, people talk about them, is because they're play to earn games. A play-to-earn or a blockchain game has just as much potential to succeed as a game that's not like that too. But the difference is that it actually has to be good. All of the play-to-earn and blockchain games are just simply bad games. That's why they don't succeed. It's not because they're blockchain, it's because they're bad.
You're just asking yourself, why would you even need to transition from traditional database technology to blockchain? Like, what does it actually add overall, other than this idea of interoperability, where you can take skins or assets from one game and put them in another one because you own them on the blockchain? Which again, developers already do this, and I don't think developers that are competing are ever going to do this. So the ones that are already can. We already see this in Blizzard's games, right? You get you buy a digital deluxe edition.
Yeah, you buy the deluxe edition of Diablo 4. You get the WoW mount.
Whatever in one game, and it gives you skins and cosmetics and whatever else in another game. And they could expand that if they wanted to. They just don't, because a lot of the times it's just a waste of time. Because why would something in World of Warcraft have any relevance on Diablo or on Hearthstone, etc., etc.?
Yeah, it's like people usually just do that if they're collectors inside of the game. It doesn't have any real value.
The only other argument is that if you get banned or whatever, you still keep the assets and the game developers can't take them away from you. But this is already proven untrue in blockchain. We've already seen some of the biggest projects literally take things away from people or just make it worthless, or essentially make it, persona non grata. Nobody's going to touch it because it's a, black asset or whatever. Which essentially means it's the same thing. You basically have the same centralized problems, I guess checks and balances is what we usually call them, but applied in a different way slightly. It's slightly different flavor. And
most of the people that are into this kind of stuff are the people, like, a lot of the scams that happen with these games are things that happened in the US in like the 1800s. Like, all you have to do is go back to the robber baron days and see what they were doing, and then just do that in crypto. So it's just different people getting finessed by literally the same scams.
That's supposed to be a selling point. I don't really understand how that makes sense.
Amazing.
But obviously most people that are familiar with Entropia, or at least have heard of the name, will have seen this. And it's the top 10 list of video game items ever sold.
Wow.
And this one always got people real interested back in the day. Because they'd see Entropia Crystal Palace, top 3 spots, Entropia Virtual Universe MMO, known for its unimaginable virtual transactions that have to do with the game's trading system that uses real money. A virtual space station dubbed the Crystal Palace was sold in the game for $330,000.
What?
Then Club Never Die was sold to $635,000. And then Planet Calypso was sold by the actual developers for $6 million. Now that's crazy, right? That sounds great as a, fluff piece or whatever on the internet, or a cool clickbaity YouTube video. But in reality, do you know
it was another company that bought it. So it was all artificial. Look at, read it. It was just another company that bought the planet.
How people play Entropia and how few people play Entropia, and do you know why? It's because the actual core game mechanics of how most of these play-to-earn games are set up are not fun. Do you know most people who play this game are literally called, like, sweat farmers, which sounds...
Sweat farmers. And like, that term is probably just a translation from the actual term that's, like, used for them in, like, Korean or Chinese or something like that. Like, or it's some, like, it's from, like, Portuguese, and that's just what they call them.
It's gross in and of itself, but it's basically exactly what it sounds like. They put money on the game to buy ammo, to go and shoot monsters for hours.
Jesus.
To farm sweat. And then they sell sweat to other players. God. And then there'll be intermediary players who buy sweat for cheaper and then try to sell it for more.
Oh my.
And then there's the people doing the really cool stuff in the game that costs tens of thousands of dollars, where they own literal land and people come in and they've decorated this place up and they're charging fees taxes to come in and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay,
which is the selling point of most metaverses. If you were to take Earth 2, for example, an example that most people on this channel will probably be familiar with at this point, their whole selling point is you can play for free, you can be a sweat farmer. Essentially, it's a direct parallel.
You can play for free, but you are like... You're like a janitor. So that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you can do this, but you just have to work harder than everybody else.
And then the other people who've spent a bunch of money, usually before the game is even made, so nobody even knows if it's worth spending money on in the first place. They just took the gamble and hope that it pays off. They're the ones who get to do the real cool stuff. And then maybe they'll rent something to you so you can have fun. And it's just a fundamentally misunderstood idea of how people play video games. So showing that we have an example here of exactly what they're trying...
It's because it's not a game. That's the reason. It's not a game. This is a way for people to make money. The video game is just simply like... It's the same as, like, I used to stream World of Warcraft back in the day. But, like, did I really? No, not really. It just, like, that's just the section that I was in on Twitch. This is the same thing.
To do, and let me just be clear. Not all things are created equally. Not every single play-to-earn game is trying to be, we're going to sell everything. Everything's a monetized, on-chain transaction, and everything's worth money. There are going to be games that come out that just sell skins.
Oh, yeah.
And realistically, they're the ones that are probably having a higher chance to take off. Things like Dr. Disrespect's game.
Dead Drop.
Well, I think it right now looks pretty bad. I probably will play it if people are interested on my take. since I played BRs forever, big into FPS games anyway, love extraction games. And it looks like eventually maybe that will come out, so it's probably worth looking at what it's like now. Mm-hmm. A game like that from a big name, whole bunch of money, just doing cosmetics, that has a fairly decent chance to succeed just because of all the things going for it. But the problem is...
It's hard to say whether Doc's game is going to be successful or not. I'll definitely play it whenever it comes out regardless, though.
Of course, that is right now, at least, the very small percentage of games where they're not doing... we're just going to sell everything. Because as I've said a million times, the best way to raise money, and this is true for Kickstarter as well, we've seen this, it's not just a crypto exclusive thing. When people want to raise money, the best thing to do is just sell everything. Just say everything's going to be amazing, it's going to be the best, it's going to be like nobody's ever seen before. That's going to sound much better.
Well, the reason why that's why people do it, it's because you're always trying to take advantage of people who think that they're going to be the ones that get in on the ground floor. You're convincing them that they're investing in Google in 1999. They're investing in Amazon in 2005. And as soon as people think that, well, then they'll give you all their money because they're going to be rich.
In people's heads.
You mean suckers? Yeah.
Being realistic. We've seen that's why Star Citizen will always raise more money than any other game. Because the fantasy of how amazing it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. It's why games...
And that's right. You never want to show people or like let people really get a big idea of what the game is, because the more that they can see, the less they'll want it.
That Chronicles Valeria would raise more money than if you just showed up and said, realistically, we can make this game and it's probably going to be okay, but it's not going to be anything too crazy. Because people want crazy. It sounds better in their head. The fantasy is always what sells people on things.
Yeah, like look at Dragonflight, for example. Like they didn't have any crazy new systems or anything like that. And people were like, wow, this expansion's going to suck. Is this even good? I mean, there's not even a new system. Where's the Covenants? I don't understand this. Yeah, that's just how it is.
When you add in the benefit of like these assets can go up in value, of course the companies that are trying to raise the most money lie about everything, or at least, don't be 100% truthful in their capabilities and how people will actually be able to do this in the future, and it'll make sense. We have numerous examples now. Here we go. Look, this is a perfect stock footage for this. We have numerous examples now of games that have done this exact concept. And most people, I'm not saying there's no audience, because to be honest, if you go through the forums, there's a couple thousand people.
There's dozens, I'm sure, of people that play this game. Absolutely.
Probably still play Entropia and have been playing on and off for 20 years.
Yep.
That's cool, man. Like, niche experiences, I think, should always exist, and they shouldn't change just because I won't play them. If there's an audience for this stuff, that's cool. But when you then say, this is the future, I honestly think that's like, you're taking in none of the evidence we already have. And if you even say that the reason nobody plays something like Entropia is because it's old and it's bad and blah, blah, blah. One, that wasn't the case at the start, and still it wasn't a very popular game. And two, most crypto games that are doing this are actually way behind Entropia is right now. So why would somebody stop playing League of Legends? Fortnite, which, by the way, Fortnite's doing some...
Well, it's why would they stop? Because they want to play these other games to make money. Because the pay-to-win games, or the play-to-earn games, same thing, they're all about making money. That's the selling point of the game. It's like, if you're thinking about going to like GameStop and buying this game, what is the thing that's on the cover? The thing that's on the cover is the fact that it's a play-to-earn game. It's being sold as a play-to-earn game. That's what people want to see.
Crazy stuff recently. World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, or even Second Life, Entropia if they're already into it. Any of these games that are already established, why would they stop playing those to come and play something that they're going to have to gamble heavy in, or basically pay the price later on that they can't have fun unless they're rich in real life? And that's why none of these like play-to-earn MMOs that are selling the stuff up front, in my opinion, will ever do well. Now, if you're going to show up with a game that sells nothing and maybe has just some cosmetics or something like some Kickstarter projects do, I'm more than willing to look at it and judge it based on the game. Although, of course, I'm always going to say forever, we don't need that stuff. We have it already. You could even, like Steam has, a marketplace that doesn't require this technology.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like this thing is kind of already solved with, like, CSGO skins and stuff like that. Because people buy and sell those all the time.
That removes the buzzwords, and people are going to be more likely to get in on it, because that is a big factor as well. The buzzwords have just basically been sullied to this point due to how many scams there are, how obnoxious the fan base is, and generally just how people perceive this stuff. And I don't think it's ever going to play well. Though I do always say, of course, if a game comes out and it's just the best game ever made, it doesn't fucking matter what monetization is in it. People are going to play it.
Yeah, especially that's what happened with Genshin Impact, is that Genshin Impact seems to be a good game and people play it even though it's pay to win. Absolutely.
If it's not like so upfront and in your face that you basically have to swallow something very nasty to do so. But the issue is, of course, is we've seen nothing at all in terms of revolution or anything that would even be on par with what we've already got. And there are a few games people keep telling me to check out. For some reason, people keep telling me to check out Cornucopia, which I did, and then I googled it again, and there's no new gameplay, and they're telling me, like, Cornucopia is the future. I think it's the same fucking guy in every...
It is. Because what you have to understand is that, like, 5 play-to-earn Cryptobros sound like 500. Because you've got to keep in mind, they don't have a job, so they have all day to talk about this game, and on top of that, there's tons of different things that they can do and talk, like, they want to promote the game because they're going to make more money if more people play the game. So it's in their best interest to create a buzz about the game. Like, oh, this is going to be the future. It's going to change gaming. Yeah, of course they're going to say that. No fucking shit.
Comment section just making new accounts. But I did just want to talk about Entropia because it is interesting as a concept. It's been around for so long. Nobody really seems to know about this unless you're an OG MMO person. You've been around the block a little bit. And it does just perfectly encapsulate why exactly nobody's going to really play into the metaverse. Because essentially when your time is monetized to the point where doing menial tasks and menial labor for somebody else is how you're going to spend most of your time in game, and you're never going to...
Yeah, you're already doing that in real life. So, like, what do you want to do? So you're going to go to work and work for some fucking American billionaire, and then come home, and then now you're going to work for some fucking Dubai oil prince? Like, what is this? This sucks.
All the other stuff. It's just real life simulator. There's billionaires flying everyone private jets, doing amazing things, doing all the drugs, and you're never going to get to do that. And you're already working for them in real life. So you're going to spend your time playing a video, You're
saying the exact same shit I'm saying.
Game where you're grinding for 50 cents an hour. I think this suspension disbelief is a real big thing for people in media in general. Massive. And this shit, I don't joke when I say is actual depression simulator.
Yes, because, like, you look at the amount of time that you're spending on the game, and then you see, like, well, how much did I make? $1.17. It was 4 hours? Huh. Man. And then here's the thing, is that, especially with these other games, and this is going to become more popular, it already is you see now there's people that are making, they spend $20,000 on a game, and then everybody else, bro, they just look down on them. Like, there were Diablo Immortal clans that would require people to send in their paycheck to make sure that the people that were in the clan were going to be able to keep up with them and keep up with their pace of playing. Yeah. Yes. Ain't no way. Yeah. I remember it happened on the launch of the game. Lost Ark had that too. Yeah. It's like you'd have people dropping $400 regularly. Okay. Maxing out that daily transaction fee. You covered the guy that spent 100K plus on general consensus was that no one liked him as a Diablo player. I feel like a lot of people like that guy. And the truth is, you don't have to like him. You won't like him because he's farming you in the battlegrounds. Like, this dude is going 47-0. Meanwhile, it's like, oh, I don't like him. Yeah, of course you don't like him, because he's farming you at spawn. Because he spent 100K and you're fucking poor and you can't afford it. That's the way these games are. It's crazy how it happens. And people put up with it. Like, fuck this. The moment that I never queued a single BG of Diablo Immortal. And that was even after I spent like thousands of dollars on the game. Because, like, I don't want to do this. This is stupid. How much did I spend? How much did I spend on Diablo Immortal? It was like $4,000 or $5,000. So it's like, that's really not a lot compared to many other people. Wealth disparity is so wide. Yes. And it was so massive between like these different people. Like, they spent so much fucking money on it. And you're just faced with the fact that you're never, like, you're just an inferior player. You go to work, you're an inferior person. You're driving your shitty inferior car. You go home to your inferior house. And then you get on the video game and you're inferior to somebody that just spends money in the video game. Oh.
In terms of just viewing your life through, I'm wasting my time doing something that's not even extraordinarily fun.
Yeah.
And also, I can see with a dollar value how not valued my time is. Working for somebody else and never getting to the point where I'd actually want to be to have fun in a game, when I could just go play something else that I buy for $60 or pay a subscription fee or whatever, and it's just a good game straight out the box.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably a little bit longer than it needed to be. Again, sorry about voice, etc. Wisdom tooth removed yesterday. It sucks. But we'll get through it. And yeah, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you next time. Peace out. Oh,
Damn.
Before I go, actually, if you've got a suggestion of content, let me know in the Discord comment section, Twitter, and also if you've got one of these crypto games that you think is the future, let me know, because I always love a good laugh, and I'm sure my audience does as well. It's half the reason they show up. So yeah, see you next time. Peace out.
This is the D's Nuts guy in 2015.
Very fucking true,
So this
man.
is basically
Holy
the
shit.
metaverse that...
Give me a second. Oh my god. I love seeing this, man. I absolutely love it. Cryptom Investigator was creator of JavaScript. That's credibility behind it. Well, good for you, man. Good for you. I'm sure I'm sure you're gonna be rich, man. Yeah, you're gonna be rich. You're gonna be a billionaire. We're not gonna be. You're gonna be better. You're gonna be. Oh man, bro, you're gonna be on top of it. Man, you just come back and let me know whenever that happens. Okay? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's going to the moon, man. Going to the moon. Yeah, a lot of people don't want to play video games that constantly remind them how financially inferior they are to a bunch of other people. That's really the truth. Nobody wants to sit around and play a game and watch a game that constantly reminds them that their life is inconsequential and all they are decorations for a fucking oil prince or some fucking stock trader on Wall Street. And it's like, what you do in like 5 hours, he does in 5 seconds. And, you know, he's down the road. You're still killing dinosaurs in this borked game. He owns this massive fucking club. You can't even go to the club. You can't even get a job there. And if you do get a job, you're getting paid $2 an hour. Like, and then they kick you out. Yeah, he owns the dinosaurs. You have to pay him to kill the dinosaurs. And then he buys the stuff that you pay them with. And so, like, this guy's just making money off of you. You're just basically a fucking slave. And then you go to work. And then, like, the boss is like, yeah, we're going to need you to come in on Saturday. You come in on Saturday. And it's like you're late. And then they dock you pay. And you don't get your fucking, you don't get the promotion. Somebody else does. But they were also late, but they're the boss's friend and you're not. So it's just like, oh my god. Please make it stop. Yeah. Oh my god. Somebody want to introduce all the shittiest part of real life into the market? It's because people are naive enough to think that they're going to be the ones that are on top of it. That's why it's so popular.